Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome out to Buffalo Wild Wings. Thanks, Buffalo Wild Wings, for having us out here again. They generously give us a really big discount on your good lunch that you guys have. So just a reminder for Candy and your servers here, please tip generously. Don't tip like we're getting a discount. Tip like we need to tip out here. They do a good job. So I give you that reminder. Buffalo Wild Wings gives us a great deal. A lot of things to get to. Basketball this weekend, football this weekend. It is a busy week for the Hardrockers. To put a recap on the cross-country season, though, they went down to the regional meet down in Texas. It was dusty down there. It looked dusty. It looked dirty. We'll see how Steve Johnson gives us a reaction. Welcome up, head coach Steve Johnson.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, it was a long trip down there. It took us about 12 hours. We actually stayed in Lamar on the way down and worked out down there. Probably the biggest takeaway from this trip is that my girls have no desire to go back to Texas. They got about halfway through their pre-meet on Friday, and they come up to me and probably saw the Facebook picture that Brad put up for me. They smiled for the picture, and right after the camera went down, they all had to tell me about how they saw a spider that had its own shadow. So, between the spider, they thought they saw a scorpion, and somebody else said they saw a baby rattlesnake. They don't want to go back to Texas anytime soon. But we had a decent weekend. On the women's side, we had our highest individual finish in a region meet, with Adeline Stratmeyer finishing 53rd overall. That put her in the top 30% of the field, which when you consider that the top 4 teams in the region dominated the top 30% of the field, that's a pretty good day. We had most of the teams set personal bests for the 6K distance, which was a good thing. We improved significantly. The last time we were down there were 22 teams, and we were dead last. So this time we came out, there were 23 teams, and wound up 17. So we improved a little bit over the last time we went down there. We saw our times improve significantly. We took a little over a minute and a half off of our team average time on that course from a couple of years ago. So pretty big improvements on their part. On the men's side, I told you going in, I wasn't real sure where we were going to stack up, because that difference moving up to the 10K really does shake things up quite a bit, and we wound up 17th there as well, which was, if you'd asked me about 3 weeks into the season if I thought we could be 17th in that field, I would have told you no way. We were 21st. We were second to last the last time we were down there, so going down there and getting a chance to beat a few teams was a pretty nice change of pace. When we looked at the field overall, we were actually basically right at the same point that we were last year, which is good. That was what we were hoping for. That was what we were shooting for with these guys, was to get some confidence in them, get them to understand that we really, even though we've got different parts, we're really moving in the right direction, because we've got a young crew that's really excited, really interested. I had one of my guys that's going to be more of a miler for us on the track, that his takeaway was, I really like the 10K compared to the 8K. That never happens for a miler. Most of our milers would rather run away 10 miles than run a 10K. So that was a good change. Our number 1 guy this past weekend was Ashton Grissom. He stepped up, had a really good race. We really tried, it was a 3-loop course, 3-lap course. We really tried to work that second loop hard. He did a nice job. He picked up probably about 25 or 30 spots on that second loop, and which was probably only bested by Jacob Huber, our other freshman, who I think picked up about 60 or so. They put a little bit of a scare into me, because on both sides, when they came through about a kilometer into the race, they were, I could see the last place person behind each of our packs, but we moved up quite a bit. Adeline Stratmeyer had picked up about I swear she had to pick past about 100 people over the course of the race to work her way up to 53. So we got to work on starting a little faster in the future, but it was a good one overall, and a good season overall. We had a few firsts. We had our first women's team win in quite a while. We had our first men's team win in about 3 years. We had the first time, as it was pointed out to me at the conference meet, it was the first time one of our seniors actually placed in the top 3 at a conference meet in probably the last 6 or 7 years. So we've had some real good firsts this year, and we've just got to keep building on that. As we go forward, we're giving them a little bit of a break this week, and then we have to get ready for the track season. Are there any questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Nice job this year. Hardrocker volleyball program up next. They seem like they've been on the road a lot, but not really more than any other teams. But they're finally come back home for their last match of the year against Black Hill State Thursday. Welcome up, Doug Tabbert.
Thanks. Yeah, we last road trip this past weekend went down to Shadron on Friday night. Last week when I talked about the match, it was going to come down to, I thought, we were the better serving passing team. They had a couple of hitters that could be pretty difficult to handle, and it would really come down to kind of which of those strengths kind of won out. And unfortunately for us, they had 2 hitters that really got going, got pretty hot in the match, and we had a hard time dealing with them. And so it wasn't a great match for us, and they got us. Interesting, it was nerd night down there. They come out for warm-up, and they're all wearing these white t-shirts, and they've got a red bow tie printed on them, and they've got these buttons down the front printed on them, and a little pocket protector over here printed on them. And so it was nerd night. And one of their cheers when they broke a huddle, they went nerds as they broke a huddle, at least once that I heard. So I don't know. Here's my theory: is that I think maybe they're trying to start up a rivalry with us, and I hope there's no Shadron alums here, because quite honestly, they've been a pretty low-level volleyball team in the RMAC for a long time, and I give them credit. They're starting to build the program up, and they're getting better, but I don't think they haven't been very relevant in the RMAC, and I don't know if they have a real natural rival in volleyball in the RMAC. So I kind of have the feeling they're trying to create something with us. I don't know. That's what they did. And one of our kids asked me, well, can we do something like that when we play Black Hills? Wear like an apron or something, and I said no, because we have more class than that, so we're not going to do that. But that's kind of how they handled it. Then Saturday went to Regis. Regis, very good team. They've been an elite team in Division II for a long time, one of the top tier teams in the RMAC. They got us pretty good when we played them at our place, and first set was kind of rough. They beat us up pretty good in the first set. So we made a few changes, switched 3 different positions, came back, played great in the second. It was like a switch just got turned on, and we played so much better. We were 22 all in the second set. We really had a chance to take it. Just couldn't get a kill down the stretch, but played so much better. Third set played even better, making all kinds of defensive plays, getting some blocks. We had a couple set points that they fought off. They had a couple, 2 or 3 set points on us that we fought off. We ended up winning 30-28. Really exciting set, and best volleyball we've played in a long time, and against a good team. And then the fourth set, they got off to a little quick start on us. We battled for a while, and they kind of pulled away at the end. But really a good match, and just night and day from Friday night to Saturday night for us. We played so much better. Emily Newton hit over 300 against them, our sophomore middle out of Colorado. Other than that, we really struggled offensively. We hit, as a team, had a pretty low number, and it's hard to beat a good team when you struggle offensively. But we really played well, other than the offensive part. Their coach complimented us on how we battled with them. As I'm leaving the court, I walk by the radio guy, and he's on the radio talking about how impressed he was with how we fought and how we battled. afterward he came up and talked to me about that same kind of thing. Just kind of gushed on how competitive our kids were. So, you know, it wasn't a win, but it was a pretty big step for us. We played so much better, and now we just hope we can take that momentum into Thursday. Because Thursday is a big one for us. Last match of the year, Black Hills at our place. They've been struggling, so it'll be. But it's not going to matter. We know they're going to play well because it's Black Hills, and they'll be energized, ready to go. So will we. So hopefully we can kind of control our emotions and play as well as we played this weekend on Saturday. Because we were a very different team on Saturday. Best we've been in a long time. So it's just fun to be a part of it, and fun to be a part of that match and see our kids play that well. So hopefully we'll handle that this Thursday. I've got any questions about anything first. I've got a guest here, but I'll ask open up the questions first. Anything? All right, I'm going to bring up one of our players here. Elizabeth Jensen's a freshman out of Colorado. Been our starting center most of the year. She's the one that, when I told you about the alligator farm in Colorado, she's the one that suggested we go to the alligator farm. So just so you know. You know, and you're going to see her, she looks very meek and mild-mannered and harmless and all that, and that's not exactly who she is. She's got an ornery streak. She's pretty bold sometimes. There's a whole lot of personality in this small package, and I'm sure you're going to see that. So, but she's done a nice job for us this year, coming in and starting as a freshman in a tough position to play. So I'm going to bring her on up. So come on up.
Like Coach said, I'm Elizabeth Jensen. I'm a freshman from Aurora, Colorado, which is in the Denver metro area. I'm studying civil engineering. I'm pretty excited to start classes for that. And about the alligator farm, it is seriously one of the coolest places you'll ever go to. If you're ever in southern Colorado, go there. It's a little trashy, but it's okay. It's fun, it's cheap. It's just a nice family place. And I've actually wrestled an alligator from there. It's a crazy story. I was just walking around. It was one of their like anniversary nights or something. And they were taking one alligator from one pen into another. And they had it just standing in the middle of the aisle, I guess, for anyone to walk by and see. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. And the guy was like, do you want to hop on top of it? And I was like, sure, why not? So I got on top, stuck my hands in its mouth, tried to pull it up, and I don't know. I just prayed to God that it didn't eat me. Yeah. So are there any questions?
Biggest adjustment for playing football in college?
Definitely the time, the amount of time you have to put in for just college athletics. The first week we do 2-a-days, and we're basically with the team all day. We eat breakfast together, and then we go to practice, then we have lunch together, and then practice again, and then usually eat dinner together. But it's really fun. I really like it. Although it does take a lot of your time, it's just great being around a great group of girls and just doing the sport you love, playing the sport you love. Yeah. Any other questions?
Did you have connections at school plans
Yes, my parents both went here. Yeah, they're alum. My mom was in electrical engineering and my dad did mining. And fun fact, my mom actually is a charter member of Alpha Omega Epsilon, which is one of the sororities on campus. So yeah, I like to share that. I think that's good. Anything else? Okay, well thank you very much.
Thank you. Great season for the Thursday night with the volleyball program. Come out and support them against Black Hills State. Hardrocker football team went on the road to Western Oregon. Coach Stacy Collins, I think, is still drying out from the rain out there. That's why you left the Northwest to come here to this beautiful weather. Welcome up head coach Stacy Collins.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks everybody for coming out. It certainly was a wet one on Saturday. You always kind of throw it when the elements are that way. There's a lot of things going on. We had some issues early. Turned the ball over I think 4 times in the first half. Snapped the ball over the head. And as it all came out, it was 12-8 at half, and we were actually in a pretty good situation. And then in the third quarter, they scored down on that first series. They got behind. We couldn't catch back up. So another frustrating one. We had our chances on Saturday. It's a good football team we played. They've won 6 in a row. They put themselves in the playoff picture, but we certainly had some chances out there to get some things done, and we've got to find a way this last game against William Jewell and the last game for 16 of our seniors to end this season with a winning record and finish things right. But players of the game, some guys that played extremely well for us offensively. Danny Ziegler did a really nice job. Defensively, Chris Counts did a really, really nice job for us, and our pickaxe player of the week was David Jackport, defensive end. So William Jewell coming into town for senior day. Pretty familiar with him. We played him the last 3 years, and we just signed another 2-year deal with him. So we will play in this game and then open up with him at the first game of next season. So you'll see a lot of William Jewell here in the next couple seasons. So any questions that I can answer for you about the Western Oregon game or the upcoming game with William Jewell? No, they've done really. Yeah, they started off had some losses early, but they've done a nice job, and they're 4-6 right now in the season. 3 of their 4 wins came on the last second field goal, but they're doing some really good things offensively. They're explosive on special teams, have some really good returns. It's really a real good kicker, and they've been solid defensive. They're a good football team. All right. Oh, how many seniors you got? We got 16 seniors. Yep. Going into the season, we thought we had 21, but 5 of those guys were injured, and they'll get a chance to play again. So we've got 16 seniors. It's a neat class. It's a handful of these guys were part of our first recruiting class we'll be going through. So that's a neat group for us. All right, thanks again, everybody, for coming out.
Thanks, Coach. As you get your lunch served, a couple more coaches to have up here. Basketball starts this weekend. We talked about it a little bit last week with their exhibition games where regular season gets started. We'll welcome up women's head coach Ryan Larsen previewing Presentation College in Johnson and Wales. Johnson and Wales Friday, presentation on Saturday. Welcome up, Coach Larsen.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks, everyone, for showing up today. Last week, we talked a little bit about our exhibition game, and I said I didn't have a whole lot to say, and apparently I was up there a good 10 minutes or something like that. I'm not going to apologize for that. I got a lot to say, and a lot of knowledge to empower you guys with, so I'm going to talk as long as I want today. Okay, so just buckle in. It's time to start the season. Normally, the first week before you play, the past few years, I was like, oh, I'd love another week of practice. I'd love another week of practice, but no, it's time to go. Our kids are obviously more than ready to play a different opponent rather than beating up on themselves, and quite frankly, we're kind of at that stage right now. For us to get better, we got to play somebody different. We have to guard a different offense. We have to guard different personnel. Go against different defenses and stuff like that, obviously. So we're kind of at that point in practice right now where we've peaked a little bit, and it's definitely time to play somebody different. And really looking forward to it. It's more than time for us to get after it. But we got 2 quality opponents coming in right away. Johnson and Wales, we were pretty familiar with them. Played them twice last year, once the year before. An undersized team compared to the height that we roll out there, which defensively is a little alarming because they'll play smaller guards and they play a dribble weave offense where they like to get to the rim and shoot a lot of threes. So our post players are going to have a lot of responsibility on themselves as far as guarding on the perimeter. They're going to have to really get in the stance and just guard, as we're going to tell them. Just get in the stance and guard and don't get shot on. That's tough for post players where normally they're just down on the block and kind of defending on the block down there. But so that'll be a good challenge for us. Friday night's going to lead well into Saturday, where again very similar, a team with smaller in size and play similar offensively, where we're just going to have to really get in the stance and guard. And it's good for us offensively because we can take advantage of our height and the way we play. So it kind of evens out in those ways. Both teams have Johnson Wales has a little guard that can really, really scored. She's averaging 11 three-point attempts a game, and she's got the green light wherever, and she can make it wherever. So she's going to be a big focal point of us defensively and shutting her down. If we leave her open, she's more than capable of having a big night. And then Presentation has a guard. All these teams have Presentation. They'll have 2 games under their belt. Johnson Wales, I know for sure, has 2. They might play again before us, so they kind of have an advantage there. But anyway, Presentation, they have a guard. Last weekend when they opened up, their first game, she had 39 points. Yeah, 39. The following night she had 27. So right away, obviously that shows us right now that there's a kid right there we're going to have to really key on defensively. So there'll be good challenges for us. But more than anything, the opening weekend, everybody they don't know a whole lot about each other. Obviously, we know a little bit more about them because they played, but it's all about how we perform. And that's what kind of our message is this week. How are we going to perform? How are you going to defend the way we know how to defend, the way we've taught you how to defend, and how are you going to execute our offensive sets and stuff like that. So it's more important how we play rather than what the opposition is going to do for us. But really excited to get the season going. Again, really enjoyed the fall sports this year. It's kind of crazy you guys are ending and we're just getting going. But it's time for us to go. Any questions for me? Yes. Coach Paul and I talked about this yesterday. We have a good idea, and I'm not trying to hide anything, Tom, but honestly, there's some positions out there that are up for grabs yet. There really are, and that's a good problem to have. Our kids are competing for time right now, and they're getting pushed. The 3 guards that were started at Utah State, Showalter, Huffle, and Peterson, those other 3 behind them are really pushing them. So I'm going to let it play out for a while right now. I do know Devin Ashley and Megan Rohr are going to start. Megan didn't get it. She was hurt at Utah State, but she's come back. She's 100%, and it looks like she hasn't missed a beat. And then, obviously Devin, she's kind of a fixture for us. I do know those 2, but those other 3 spots, they're up for grabs, and the kids know it. They're still competing for who's going to get that starting knob in time. I'm not dodging it. I promise you. That's a great question. Krista's playing really well. She's doing the things that she's really good at. A tremendous passer, a great floor general, smart shot taker, stuff like that. Explosion isn't quite back yet. And I keep asking the training staff, when's that going to come back? I really want to see that, but it could be a year yet, before she gets this burst that she used to have before she gets to the rim. But game-wise, I'm very happy with her. Her shot is coming around. She really didn't. She was just rehabbing that knee and getting in shape all summer long, where she was doing ball handling and stuff like that. But she didn't get a whole lot of shots in. But I'm very pleased with where she's at. It's great to have 2 really good point guards right now. Not that Callie wasn't a good point guard for us last year, but she's going to be better off the ball for us this year, scoring and attacking the rim, and she's better at it. Yep. Anything else? Hey, appreciate you guys coming down. Look forward to seeing you at the gym Friday night.
Thanks, Coach. And again, a reminder, busy weekend here. The women play at 5:30 Friday and 5:30 on Saturday. The Friday-Saturday doubleheader also includes the men's team. Had a nice alumni weekend with Coach Henry here. A lot of alumni came back for the men's basketball program. Had an alumni game. It was good to see them. Didn't see Coach Henry get out there and play. That would have been the tip of the iceberg, the icing on the cake. Welcome up Coach Jason Henry.
Well, first of all, it's alumni, and most of you know me, and there's no way in God's name I'd graduate from this school. So that ain't happening anytime soon. But it was a great weekend. It was a great opportunity to get a bunch of guys back. We had 30-plus guys back. We had 25, 26. I think this ended up being 23 that played in the alumni game. just a fun weekend. You know, actually Nate helped us put it on. Joel put a lot of things into it, and it turned out super. I talked to them both yesterday, and we couldn't be more pleased with the turnout and getting those guys back. So the game was fun too. You know, we had a chance to get out there and play one more time before we open up this weekend, and did some good things. I got to see some guys play that hadn't played a lot of minutes and those kind of things. Actually, the night before, we played what's called a fundraiser game, and we're able to do that with the NCAA and just some different rules and those kind of things. Had a chance to get out there and play there too. Adam Templeton was back, or he's in town now, but he had a chance to play a little bit. Plus a few other guys. And once you become 36, 38 years old, you know, you get bigger and you get stronger, and as our guys called it, the old man strength. You know, so our guys got shoved around a little bit more than they've been used to, and it was good for our guys. You know, we got a chance to once again get out there and do some different things on the offensive side, work on some things defensive side. And as excited as I was coming off of the South Dakota State game, you know, with how hard we played and did some things on the defensive end, we kind of went back to square one against that fundraiser, that Black Hills All-Star game. And, you know, we were pretty disappointed in that. We hopefully got some things fixed. We got to see some things on film. Had a super practice yesterday, probably one of the best practices that we've had all year. But some of it came to, you know, kind of got on them a little bit, and some of those kind of things. They came ready to go yesterday in practice, but the other thing that happened, we got two guys back, and I know Coach Collins gets up here every day, and you know, it started out early on in the season and that kind of thing with some injuries, and he's had some major injuries this year, and some big time players, and you know, the scoring that's on the sidelines for him as far as the threats and things on the wide receiver stud, and to be honest with you guys, he's full of crap. I'll tell you that right now, that he doesn't miss those guys, and that you know, they would be even a better team and things like that. So I know we're supposed to get up here and say, hey, next guy up and that kind of thing, but when those guys came back yesterday at practice, it was a totally different practice for us. So I know his feeling, and I know injuries do stink, there's no doubt about it, and guys have stepped up and done some great things for him, but when I saw them, all I could think about is our football team, and just going, holy cows, a couple guys make a big difference for just overall practices, overall games, you know, that kind of thing. So yesterday was good. We had Steven Yellowtail back. We had Tyler Schoening back. You know, they're energy guys for us. They're guys that play their tails off, and they're pretty good players. So, you know, that was a big part of us having a pretty good practice. Now, whether or not they'll play it this weekend, they're still nursing some things and have some opportunities to see some other guys play and that kind of stuff. But as far as practices go, you know, we're a totally different thing. Looking forward to this weekend. Exactly the same as what Ryan was up here talking about with the teams that are coming in. They shoot a lot of threes. It's a different matchup for us. We're going to have our post guys. I've already talked to a couple of them. I don't know how much they're going to play this weekend. You know, because on the defensive side, you get out there, they're chasing around guys that are 10 inches shorter than them, literally, and quicker than them, and can do some things. So it makes it pretty difficult on the defensive side. But that being said, on the offensive side, obviously, hopefully we have a mismatch and we get some touches in there. But oftentimes it doesn't work that way in the game of basketball. It affects you more on the defensive side than it does on the offensive side. So hopefully we can get there and get the rebounds and that kind of thing, and they can play some minutes. But I have no problem going small, as they say as well. And we got guys this year in the guard spots that can do some things and can match up that way, so we don't have to play with a big on the floor all the time. So first night out, Johnson Wells, they played a few games already. They go to Doane and beat a very good Doane team on their home floor. And then the next night they got beat by a team that probably wasn't as talented, as good as the Doane. So early on in the season, as we all are, a little bit up and down, but for them just to get that win at Doane makes us open our eyes to know that we're going to have our hands full right off the bat. The second night was presentation. You know, they played some teams that aren't real good, so to speak. Had some blowout wins, but they just come down and absolutely absolutely crank the ball. So it's a little bit different for us to guarding defensively and some of those kind of things where we've got to get out on shooters. If they're going to knock down shots, it's going to be a long night. So we're excited. Basically, our next 2 games after that, it's the same thing too. We have a few guys or a few teams that are coming in. All 4 of our non-conference are teams that love to shoot the 3. They don't guard overly well, and it's going to be something where we got to make sure that we're scoring with them. Coach Tinker, he's going to be in the front row. I'll tell you that against these teams with both nights because he loves the 3 ball. So he'll be probably cheering for the opponents for how many they throw up there. So it'll be good. But that's kind of the lowdown of the last couple weekends. I'm very proud and very happy of our turnout and the guys that came back with the alumni. We need to keep getting better, and we got some solid guys that we're excited about. We do need to play harder. We do need to compete a little bit better. We do need to increase our toughness. But things that we got to work on as a coaching staff and hopefully get better with. So moving forward, looking forward to the games this weekend. Any questions for me today? Nope. Yep. Yeah, and the question is excited about being in conference. It's you have no idea. I mean, as far as how excited I was to have my kid, and that kind of thing in the delivery room. Honest to goodness, I'm not kidding. That's how excited I am. There's some things in life after the last couple of years that really get me going, and just thinking about getting into conference. That being said, we got to take care of business these next couple of weekends before we do look ahead too much into the conference. But these games will prepare us for that. There's a few teams in our league, in our conference, that will shoot the ball a lot. That will look to score, do some things that way. But we got to play well. If we can't take care of business against your preseason games, and all of them are at home and that kind of stuff, it could be a long year too. So we got to come out and we got to play well to show ourselves that we can play against those top teams and be ready to go. But as far as being excited and looking forward to a chance to play in a conference tournament and that kind of stuff, our guys are ready for this game coming up this weekend just to play. But yeah, they are excited about going into that conference. Anything else? Been Brad, microphone, sing, song, feel like it. And then another thing, Ryan, I had my food just got here. Only time I want you to talk a little bit longer. No, you don't. So it never works. Yes. Johnson Wales. I have not seen the rating, to be honest, in AI right now. I don't think they would be at this point a top 20 team. Whether or not they end up being that, they do have a good post player, kind of more of a 4-man that plays the 5 a little bit, and then a couple decent guards. So they can compete with anything. Like I said, you go over to Doan and win over. That just doesn't happen very often. So they got the tools and they got the talent to be able to get it done. Anything else? Nah, you're good.
Thanks, Coach. Quick rundown here of the week. It's a busy week. Thursday night, 7 o'clock, volleyball at home against Black Hill State. Friday night, 5:30 women's basketball against Johnson and Wales. 7:30 right after that for the men. Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock kickoff against William Jewell, Header Stadium football. And then Saturday night, 5:30 women against Presentation, 7:30 men against Presentation. So it is Hardrocker hysteria, as we like calling it this week. Very, very busy, and I want you to come out. A reminder, please tip well today. Candace does a nice job for us. She didn't make this deal. The owner made the deal for the discount price, so make sure you tip her well. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Thanks to Buffalo Wild Wings. Have a good week.